Now, in early 1730s, Greenock was the sugar capital of the British Empire when the town started trading with the sugar exporting colonies of the West Indies.
And the industry was thriving, shipping sugar up the River Clyde to Glasgow, and then it was sold across the UK.
But the sugar industry in Greenock came to an end when sugar giant Tate and Lyle closed its Westburn refinery in 1997.
And tomorrow, an archive created by artists and musicians exploring the heritage of Scotland's once mighty sugar industry opens at the Macleay Museum and Art Gallery in Greenock.
Now, we're joined by Alec Galloway and Anne Mackay. Thank you very much for coming in to chat to us this evening. How did you both get involved in this project?
Just over a year ago, I thought about the project as an idea, and I put the project together and put a group of artists together with this idea about responding to Greenock's rich sugar heritage and doing a kind of creative project based around that.
Fantastic. Fascinating. It's something that maybe people don't know that much about, know about shipbuilding and Greenock and things, but sugar was such a massive industry, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was really one of the ideas behind it. I think a lot of people associate Greenock with shipbuilding, and we wanted to redress that a little bit, because there's practically nothing that exists in terms of public art in Greenock that reflects the history of sugar. And that's what this project is all about, and that's what the main idea was.
Brilliant.
And a lot of people in Greenock and the surrounding area know about the sugar history past?
I think older people will know, but certainly young people don't know much about it at all. And, you know, I was actually speaking to somebody today saying that so many people now think of Greenock as quite a kind of dull and not very exciting and depressing place, but they don't realise why Greenock is so important. You know, our heritage is incredibly important, and we should be proud of it, and the children too, the younger people.
And telling more people about it as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it means that this Absent Voices archive that's been put together, the Sugar Archive, it's really important for the area and everywhere else in the west of Scotland, really, to come and learn a bit more, isn't it?
Well, it is. I think certainly the younger generation, I mean, we've been working, Annie in particular, with a lot of schools in Inverclyde, and you talk to young kids 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age, and you talk about the sugar industry and they know nothing about it. You know, the odd one will say, oh, my grandfather worked there, or my grandmother worked in the sugar factories, but there's not really any kind of legacy of it, especially for young people, and we're trying to teach them a wee bit more about it and how important it was.
And when you do teach them, are they quite receptive?
I think through art and music, children are, you know, they're desperate to learn anyway and desperate to create. And, you know, after maybe the first day that we were in speaking to them and discussing it with them, they came back and said, my granda said that he worked in the sugar sheds, you know, and it was really exciting for us, because we were there then learning more about the history of it. And even older people I've worked with, and people with, you know, depression and things like that, different community groups, they're so excited that they're learning more about what their cousins did or what their next door neighbours did, and they're proud, you know, of the different industries in Greenock. So yeah, it's been very exciting.
It is, it sounds brilliant.
Yeah. And you use quite a lot of different mediums to get the message across, don't you, from poetry to paintings. Why is that? Well,
I think the initial idea was to get a group of artists that were different in their various art forms, and I knew some of the artists and their work, and I thought it would be a richer project if we were mixing things like visual art and music and sort of film work, all that kind of thing. So it wasn't just about sort of drawing and painting. We really wanted it to be a broad project with lots of different disciplines involved.
And are the majority of artists from sort of Greenock, Inverclyde area? Is that where you've managed to find it, or is it sourced from all over the area?
They're predominantly, it's a group of 8 of us, and there's 6 that are kind of local, have local connections. We do have an artist from Edinburgh, Alistair Cook, and we also have Kevin McDermott, he's from Glasgow. But both of those people, they do have their own kind of response and their own kind of connections to things to do with sort of working in Clydeside and the kind of industry as well.
Fantastic.
I think too we've also been inspired one another. You know, the glass artist is you've inspired me, and the poets have inspired the musicians, and it's been really
fantastic group of creative people. I know.
Brilliant. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and tell us a bit more about it.
Thanks very much.
Now, we've spoken to the people behind the exhibition, but earlier today we were lucky enough to have a sneak preview of the exhibit which opens tomorrow. Take a look at this.
Pretty much on my father's side, pretty much everybody worked in one of the sugar refineries, you know, going way back to my great-grandfather's sort of generation.
Generations of families worked in the sugar industry. A couple would fall in love in the sugar industry, get married, have children, and their children would then work in the sugar shed.
Sort of came up with the idea of doing a project that sort of linked visual art with sugar history. I'm from Greenock, and my family were all sort of sugar people, so the idea really came about as a slightly out of the frustration that a lot of the artwork, the public art that happens in Greenock, tends to focus on shipyards. And Greenock was a big shipbuilding town, but it also was a big sugar place as well.
This is where, well, personally, this is where I come from.
I think everyone who is involved in the project have family members or someone that they know who worked in the industry. My granda worked down at the front, and my great-grandfather also worked down on the docks.
From the age of 10 and a half, I did a paper round just round the streets. That
came about as a slightly out of the frustration that a lot of the artwork, the public art that happens in Greenock, tends to focus on shipyards. And Greenock was a big shipbuilding town, but it also was a big sugar place as well.
This is where, well, personally, this is where I come from.
I think everyone who is involved in the project have family members or someone that they know who worked in the industry. My granda worked down at the front, and my great-grandfather also worked down on the docks.
from the age of 10 and a half, I did a paper round just round the streets where I lived, and I would see all the sugar workers walking home. In general, Greenock is seen as, oh, Greenock, there's nothing there. There's all these negative things that come out about Greenock. And people have to realise that we have such a strong heritage.
It's quite a unique mixture of artists, an opportunity to work across different disciplines, to collaborate with artists that you would otherwise not have had the chance to work with.
We've created a soundtrack which initially was to give the sugar sheds a voice. So it was really about taking the sounds of the building. We hope that the soundtrack kind of conveys activity and kind of desolation. So it's kind of, there's a bit of both happening.
There is, yeah. There's a bit of light and shade.
There's a couple of different series of work here. This, for example, is of course the sheds themselves, and this is a paper negative. So what I'm doing here is about the impossibility of memory, really, and how this building is this great big, it's a relic, but also is part of the future.
The imagery of exotic creatures and snakes and spiders and things that are in some of these works relate to the story that when my father used to come home, he used to bring back sort of cockroaches and beetles and all these exotic things, because when the raw sugar used to come in to Greenock, quite often there were sort of things that were actually in the actual batch itself, so you would find all these exotic spiders and snakes and things.
The sugar barons did quite a bit that way to provide for the workers' families and stuff. However, it was all built on the back of slavery and the profits from slavery.
I think that there's a great difficulty in Scotland. You know, it wasn't us. Obviously a very difficult aspect of the trade, but you know, certainly one that without the trade wouldn't have happened. None of this could have happened without the existence and the acceptance of other human beings being chattel.
The idea with the exhibition is to provide, from the work that we've produced, an archive that we'll be donating to Inverclyde community, and that'll include all the, sort of the music elements and a lot of the visual art, etc. And that's going to be important for us to know that when this exhibition finishes and the artwork gets taken down, that there is a legacy that carries on in the form of the archive.